What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to review Hunter x Hunter chapter 352. Okay, so this chapter of Hunter x Hunter. First, I just want to thank you guys so much for getting me to 200 subscribers. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my 200 subscribers, like special. I'm thinking a Q&A, so I mean, you guys can just start asking questions, because I did a Q&A for my 100 subscribers, but since I have a bigger audience now, it'd be cool to have more questions come in from different people. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask in the comment section below on this video or any of my future videos. Just say that it's for the Q&A, please, so I know not to just answer it in the comment section. I know to save it for the video. And you can ask as many questions as you want, because I don't know how many of you guys will ask questions, and I want, like, you know, a decent size of, a decent amount of questions, I should say. So please, please, please ask your comments in below if you want to ask questions. If you have any, they can be about movies, TV, anime, manga, cartoons, which I guess is TV, but fuck it, video games, comic books, if I didn't already say that. Pretty much anything you want to ask me about, any amount of questions you want to ask, all that's fine, and I'll answer them in a video in maybe about a week. Probably just taking questions for about a week and then do the video. You can ask specific questions about certain series, like what do you think about this character, or what do you think about this fight. I guess try not to spoil stuff. If you're a fan of my videos, if you're a subscriber, you probably know what I review or what I have and haven't seen to a certain extent. So, I don't know, maybe not super, super specific questions, but maybe just pertaining to the series I do talk about. That way you know for sure I'm not going to be spoiled by your question. And lastly, don't ask, I mean, ask whatever you want. It's totally your right if you really want to ask this, but if you want to ask, like, what's your favorite series of all time? I have a playlist, or I have, like, on my channel just a little while back. You don't even have to, I mean, watch the videos for the explanations, and watch the videos because, you know, they're my videos. Watch them, please. But you can see my thumbnails for, like, 10 videos that show my entire top 10. You can literally just read the title of each one and just see, you know, which one's my number one, which one's my number two. So you don't need to ask what's my favorite series of all time. But I gotta get to the actual chapter, but yeah, just say Q&A question, or just say for the Q&A, or Q&A, ask your question. Boom, put it in the comments below, put it on my videos that are going to be throughout this week, and I will answer them in about a week. So yes, that'll be my 200 subscriber special, and as my audience grows, I may do more things like giveaways or live streams, but as of now, no offense to you guys, but since the audience I have is small, I don't know how many of you guys would show up to a live stream, plus there's time zones to consider and blah blah blah, so yeah. And one other thing I forgot, I'm sorry, I want to get to the chapter. Toriko live reaction will be tomorrow. It's God, so I have to fucking talk about, I have to live react to it, but I just don't have time today. So, Hunter x Hunter, Hisoka versus Chrollo, a somewhat simple chapter in terms of what happens, but complex in the dialogue, which is obviously a problem of Togashi. Because Manga Stream, I don't know for a fact if this is true, because Manga Stream is not like the utmost authority on this, but according to them, Togashi does write his story in a very convoluted and complex way with a lot of dialogue, and they find it difficult to translate at times. If that's true, then Togashi's writing style is extremely flawed, especially for a guy who has, like, no assistants and apparently has health problems. It's fucking ridiculous that he would make it so overly complicated in terms of dialogue, but whatever. I'm glad at least Viz Media knows that that's a stupid idea and they condense the dialogue and make it way easier to understand. But this is a Manga Stream translation of the chapter. Luckily, it's not anything to do with the Dark Continent, so it's a little bit more easy to follow. We get Chrollo versus Hisoka with a lengthy, ridiculously lengthy explanation, which I'll just say right now hurt the pacing of the chapter, about all of Chrollo's abilities. Now, granted, this does have its ups. You can go forward with the fight with all of this explained and not have to stop the fight to explain more shit, but I feel like that's going to happen anyway, because this is 2 chapters in a row of Chrollo explaining his abilities. I feel like it's just going to keep happening, but we don't know, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it was cool seeing Hisoka at the end put it all together, figure out what he did, and say, you know, this is really troublesome. It was a really cool ending to the chapter, and overall the chapter was fine. It was not a bad chapter. In my opinion, it was okay. I do wish the explanation had been condensed and not lasted so many pages. I do wish that The art was a little less sketchy, but overall, for Togashi standards and shit, this was actually an okay-looking chapter. It looked pretty fine. I mean, I'm not going to judge his art by his standard, because in that case, I would give every chapter like an okay to good. His art sometimes is unacceptable for a shonen series when you compare it to what other people are putting out, but regardless, the fighting itself is fine. I could follow it for the most part, so the art, you know, was okay. The pacing was slow, really slow, because of that explanation. And overall story progression, the fight continues. Can't really talk about story progression too much. Not too much in the way of characterization either, but you know, you don't really get that every week anyway. But the abilities themselves were fairly cool, and the explanations for them, while they could have been condensed, do lead to the ending of the chapter being cool with Hisoka figuring everything out, and it also could lead to them just having a straight-up fight without a bunch of talking. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully this fight does end in one of them dying, because I don't think Kurapika has to kill Chrollo. I don't think Kurapika has to avenge the clan. I think it's very, very, very clear, at least to me it's very clear, that Togashi is not depicting Kurapika in a very favorable light with this whole Kurta clan thing. Like not going to see Gon or answering any phone calls, and kind of being a little bit of a dick to people about the Kurta clan when they even bring it up, like kind of. Like when fucking Cow Dude is just like, oh, I see you still are looking for your comrade's eyes, or whatever the fuck he said. And then Kurapika's like, oh, you better watch what you say. It's like, shut up. So I think Kurapika is being depicted this way because it's not like a good thing that he's so absorbed in this whole situation. So I don't think he needs to kill Chrollo. And I think Hisoka can do it here. Because if Hisoka dies, then Gon, you know, and all that. And I don't know what's going to happen with Gon as far as his abilities go. Like, is his Nen, like, totally gone, or is it sealed, or can, like, a Nen exorcist, like what Hisoka did for Chrollo, work on Gon? I'm not too sure. It's been so fucking long since some of this shit happened. So, I mean, I read, like, some of the most recent chapters of Dark Continent, you know, recently, but still, this whole fucking arc, or this whole situation, just Togashi's hiatus, it's just made everything so confusing because of what did happen, what didn't happen, when did this happen, just remembering everything. But anyways, this chapter, it's like a solid 7.5. I mean, even taking the explanations into account and saying, like, okay, he explained the abilities and everything and all that, it's still just a good chapter overall. Nothing crazy happened, really, except for the ending was pretty damn cool. So, overall, it's a good chapter. I give it a 7.5. Very white bread, standard, safe rating, but fuck it. So, yeah. Also, I think I did mention that Toriko live reaction, that'll be happening tomorrow. I just don't have time today. And then I also want to do the Q&A in about a week, so ask your questions. Once again, Q&A, then your questions. They can be about pretty much anything. Movies, comic books, TV, anime, manga, you know, specific questions about those things. Like, do I think this character will do that in this series or whatever? Mostly pertaining to the series that I talk about or have talked about in the past, so that I'm not spoiled to anything, just to be safe. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, please do that. And, you know, if I didn't include it right now, like I said, movies, TV, blah, 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 if I didn't include it, you can still ask about it. I'm not excluding anything just because I didn't say you can ask it. Feel free to ask it anyways. So, with all that being said, what did you guys think of this Hunter x Hunter chapter? You guys can tell me in the comment section below. I'm ready for the dislikes, because that's just my Hunter x Hunter standard at this point for all the chapters I've done so far, which I think is just 2. So, what is Togashi? 3 chapters, Togashi? I said, what did I say in my video? That he'll probably get to like 4 or something? I don't remember what I said, but we'll see what happens before he goes on another hiatus. But anyways, like I said, tell me what you guys thought of this chapter in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both of those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Now we can go for 300. So once again, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're this far in the fucking video, you must have thought it was at least okay. So subscribe, give it a like, all that stuff. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.